Hello, welcome back to my series on Pathologic. This time, we will play through the final character. It's going to be a bit of a, different set of videos, as... Listen, this is intended for people who've already seen the other two playthroughs. We know what the town looks like, we know what the story is. I'm planning to have a bit more editing to cut through a lot of the walking and stuff, because we all know what I've been doing for the past, 50 hours of video on this series. Essentially, I will be talking a bit more meta and trying to cut out the extra time. And I want to get this final part in on the increasingly insensitive year of 2020, because I can. This again.
It's all about trickery to you? Wherever have you come from?
No. I detest trickery. But if we ourselves are to suffer deception, our hands are no longer tied. Where are we?
Well, the muscular contraction is there. Means we're already inside of him. This must be one of the ventricles, right here.
What a silly place. It's stuffed. So it's not real for now? I don't think it has started yet.
Does it matter what it's made of? It's definitely struggling. We need to perform sectio transversalis. Cut the wall. There's no other way out. What else is there to do?
I know what to do. Those who favor hard logic and direct action are bound to be misguided. Only a miracle can set us free without us having to destroy something. And I can do miracles. Just let me.
Will you please be quiet? You're a liar and a thief. Who is going to believe you when you keep lying to yourself? The truth is my shepherd. Whatever happens, I will find answers, and justice will be restored. I will perform the operation. Medica morbo adhibe.
Don't you go all bossy on me, clever clogs. You will act justly, but your justice will blind you and become his demise. This calls for the gentle hand of a surgeon. Step aside, both of you.
Your gentle hands are used to killing, not giving life. You will inevitably do harm. As for Brainy, he has no regard for casualties at all. Neither of you knows compassion.
Yes, it seems unlikely that we'll get along well, but there's only one truth.
Any choice is right as long as it's willed. That's the truth of the matter.
Only the heart will show you the right choice. Stop thinking about yourselves. Think of the sick. He's in pain. I can't see it yet, but I can feel it.
It's not even a trap. It's a grave. Subipsum funis sumus. Can't say I hold a soft spot for it.
I can see that. You're full of hate. Stuffed or not, it's breathing. I can hear it. It can be healed rather than killed.
You mean you won't become a killer? But you will. Mark my word, that's exactly what will happen. But I can avoid it.
No, we won't ever get along. I suggest we be on our way. The sooner the better.
Off we go then?
Let's go. The clock is ticking.
And so for the third time, a new play begins. This time, we play as the Changeling, the little wild card orator that we've had to just blindly guess on as the other two characters. She's us now, the youngest of the cast. Changeling. Clara had a dream. A foggy morning, having passed a wicket gate, she is now dawdling somewhere, piles of dry leaves rustling in her wake. A familiar voice calls out to her. She lifts her eyes and sees her own twin sister, point at an old man convulsing and weeping in unbearable agony. Clara darts for the man to save him with her healing touch, but so does her sister. The girls exchange confused glances. This is the story of a thief girl who has chosen her own past, ceased to be the instrument of blind fate, and refashioned herself into a free miracle worker.
Clara wakes up. Could the dream have been prophetic? She has prophetic dreams often. She's no longer surprised by them. She knows that they are sent by the powers that want to warn the herald of what the future holds for her. There were a lot of clues hinting at the veracity of the message. She does indeed know how to treat those in pain with her miraculous hands. She is indeed willing to ease their suffering. She truly strives to do the right thing. She loves her fellow beings. The girl is eager to do good deeds, even if that requires her to go through pain and hardships. Changeling wakes up at the edge of a pit in the ground. Sleep hasn't brought her comfort. Her back and legs ache as though she has walked many miles. Her hands are covered in mud. There are traces of dried blood on her bare knees. It's dark. The dawn is a few hours away.
Perfect Russian cutscene, Jank. Mwah. Mission. Why would they call me a thief, pray tell? What did I steal? Why does the law detest me so? The only thing I remember is that I am an outlaw, and will forever be persecuted. Was I really that good a thief, I wonder? I have nothing of value, just myself and these rags I am wearing. My crime is horrendous, still. I am beyond redemption. Back in the day, every heart was open before me. Now, whatever door I approach is slammed in my face. This is terrifying. Where should I run? With whom shall I seek shelter? Shall I find what I stole and give it back? Who will agree to take it off my hands? Who will answer my questions? If not, you. And you may be wondering to yourself who you is, but this is the meta character. The game is actively acknowledging that we're holding the strings to the puppet known as Clara. Day 1, in which the Changeling finally finds her sister, thus confirming the prophecy of the twin angels. So something I noticed when starting this character up is that each one of the characters kind of appear in their corresponding areas. We have the Stone Yard over here, the kind of capital of the bougie rich and the high thinkers. The middle class area known as the Knots, and then the Earth, the poor and trodden district. As the bachelor, you start in a cozy abode in the Stone Yard. As the Haruspecs, you start in the Knots, more specifically in the steps below it. And as Clara, we spawn in a graveyard within the earth. The earth being both figurative and literal. And we have two people who have witnessed our arriving. We have 4 people at this point. Yes, hello, tutorial men. I am now much smaller than you. How small you are, how frail. Will you survive in this horrible world? What happened to your face? How can you say something like that? You haven't seen my face. It's behind the mask. Nor can I see your true face. You can't see my face? As if I was wearing a mask too? That's funny. Is there anything else you wanted to tell me? Aren't you? You'll have to be taught to eat, drink, sleep, move around, heal yourself, even to breathe. This place drains your health all too fast. Even a seasoned person must stay alert. Not everyone manages to cope. I'm not gonna choose this, but I like this option. I don't need your advice. I think I'm familiar with eating. You open your mouth and go numb. Teach me, kindly mask. How can I stay in good health? We're dying every minute of our lives. Thousands of cells dissolve, melt, burst like bubbles in a froth. You must replenish your strength several times a day. If you allow yourself to be overcome with exhaustion, or your hunger becomes unbearable, you'll be dying even faster than usual. And usual is fast enough as it is. It's the air in this place. I'm so tired. It's as if I've been sleepwalking all night. You can buy food at a shop. If money is a problem, various comestibles can be picked up at residential houses. But those are closed, except during an emergency. And should you break into one using a lockpick, be nimble. The inhabitants will defend their property. And what if I am injured? There are pharmacies selling medicine, at no small price, mind you. Or you can barter for it with one of the street urchins, who carry it around out of sheer curiosity. Or, if you're lucky, you might get away with pinching some from a private home. But sure not to abuse those substances. They're bad for your system. Pinching? As in stealing. Would they give me some if I ask politely? You can take anything you want at the mansions of those destined for the leading roles in this unfolding drama. Such is the customs of hospitality with the local aristocracy. I just said that word terribly, but who said I was good at talking? And those who tried to imitate them. What sort of people are they? You will soon learn to spot them amongst the populace. Their houses stand out, by the way. This is also where you can find a bed to get some replenishing sleep in. Provided, of course, that you don't give the owners a reason to shut the door on you. Where can I buy useful things around here? You can spot a shop by its sign. They're for selling useless items as well as buying useful ones. Some of the people in the streets will gladly barter things they wouldn't sell you for money. There's illicit trade going on at a couple of secret spots, but a lady so young would be wise not to set foot in those dens. Or for that matter, talk about them. So there are things no one would sell me, right? Should your reputation, the importance of which my surly colleague has been meaning to speak to you, sink so low as to lose you the trust of even the most desperately reckless, which describes all merchants, you won't be able to buy even the most harmless of articles. For reputation can be restored. Where else can you teach me? Essentially, this is it for now. Don't forget to stop by the caretaker's lodge. Awaiting you there is Katarina, who will be a better mentor and supporter than myself in these difficult first days. You're lucky to have her on your side. being as she is a mistress, as well as wife to our ruler, the fearsome Alexander. Very lucky indeed. Beak, speak to me. Oi, you're one swift appear, a child, a sweet child. Such thin, see-through palms you've got, magnificent little hands, so extraordinary, and already blackened and reddened all over. How very evocative. Who are you? And who are you? There's a much more interesting question as far as everyone's concerned, yourself included, I should think. You can call me Clara. Before you enter the town and embark on your, cleansing agenda, I'd like to give you a few pieces of advice. You are, after all, a mere hatchling. I rather doubt you arrived at the cemetery with your own MO already laid out, if you pardon the pun. Please do tell me. Time won't wait for you. Hour after hour, day after day. It will run out fast. You're not the center of the universe, not even now that you have this truly exceptional part to play. At some point, you may even feel that you could easily be everywhere at once. But make no mistake, the town is changing with time, and there is nothing you can do about it. Why do you need to rub it in? Time has the final say in matters of life and death. It may so happen that you will knock on the door of a person you need when that person has already passed being able to answer you. The news changes too. What was on a person's mind a day ago will have petered out come tomorrow, and it may have been something you'd have found useful. Pray, why speak of such terrible things? It's not like I have a say in matters of anyone's life or death. Time or no time. Ha 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 ha! Haven't had a laugh like this in quite a while. If you don't have a say, who does? Who but you, my blessed child, is left holding in her hands the lives and deaths of others? But be careful with your terrible gift. Every death will count against you. No amount of trickery is too much. No price is too high for maintaining a viable reputation. Reputation? Yes, you'll have a reputation too, my dear child. And I don't think you'll find that the sullen horse is easy to tame. It will be full of surprises. Your reputation will be falling, always, relentlessly. And it's decisive in, everything. How many friends you've got, how many enemies. Trust opens the right doors and the right lips. Why will it always be falling? I'm a good person. But people are convinced of the contrary. You will exist in several guises here. The guise that will live in the collective mind, and, one may speculate, the collective memory, is a most terrifying one. Every day, people will witness signs of your otherworldly nature. You will be frightened. No, they will be remembered for my mercy, and always spoken of in praise. You'll see. People always appreciate your help, and I can assure you a lot of people are going to need help these days. Relieving sufferers from their misery is appreciated a great deal. Sometimes a person is in such pain that even euthanasia will be a blessing, especially for the incurable. Do I have a good reputation right now? Right now? Search me. That's easy to find out. In fact, it's generally a good idea not to neglect checking up on your status. Has my kind-hearted colleague spoken to you about it yet? He has. Most importantly, don't forget to stop by the caretaker's lodge. You've got people awaiting you in there. They have no doubts about your identity. As it happens, they've just drawn proof of your arrival from a pile of oracle bones. Your turning up in person will duly impress them. Dare not. Careful, don't scratch me with that beak of yours. Yeah, even when you're as short as Clara. Have you ever noticed just, how almost dull and doofy the Executor's mask is from the front. It has this, like, very imposing and wide feel to it. It always feels like Executors are looking down upon you, but this, like, point straight towards you with the widening up at its head, it's a very, like, stark feeling I get from them. Both a lazy yet judgmental feeling, mixed with those orange eyes and the kind of tribal texturing. It's no beak, my dear child, it's a talon. For what I really am is a finger of a hand. You should be that much more careful if it's a talon.
I'll let the good scholar examine the deadly powders. We'll put him to the test.
Where did you come from, girl? Tell me your name. I'm Clara, that's who I am. I saw the lights and thought I may be welcome here. I'm cold. Yes, this is right. I have been waiting for you, Clara. We have many things to talk about. Ask me and I will answer. No, not in here. Listen, you need to go to my house, report to my husband, the ruler Alexander. He will take care of you. I will be there later, when Grace and I are finished with our business. If I am guessing who you are correctly, then we are all saved. Are you in danger? Yes, the bones say we are in danger, the likes of which have not been seen on this earth. Go to our house, Clara. If you are who we have been waiting for, you'll have no trouble getting there, and no one will threaten you on your way. I'll do as you say. Here lives Alexander Sabirov, the ruler of this town. I must hasten to meet him and explain my arrival here. How about you, Grace?
The grave diggers have scattered. Where are they?
Surely you're not going to hurt a poor caretaker's daughter, are you? I may be useful to you yet. If I die, who's going to look after the graves? You don't say so, my dear. Who do you take me for? You've got me mixed up with someone else, right?
The grave diggers have scattered. Where are they?
See? My lady has come to find out what the dead are saying about our fate. Are those their bones you've got before you? No. These bones belong to the children of Suak. Legend says that a shard of Boss Turak's rib is hidden amongst them, but no one knows which exact bone is his. With these bones, we draw the lines that carry words from the house of the dead. What words have the dead chosen this time? They're saying they've already vacated 7 of the 9 corners of their house for the guests that are due. All of the house's inhabitants are now crammed into the remaining 2 corners. Can you imagine the harvest that death is about to reap? Oh, scary. I can picture vividly this house with the dead crowded in those corners, expecting many guests. And my lady doesn't want to believe it. She says the future can be changed. This is our pity talking. Where did you come from? I thought you were going to stay at grandfather's. I only went there yesterday evening, after all. What are you talking about? Well, there was a girl, the spitting image of you. She came here just before you did. It wasn't dark yet, and then she went to grandfather. Have you seen her with your own eyes? Just like I'm seeing you now. You're making it up. I'm the only me in this world. uncomfortable.
You are a herald. You've been brought here by fate itself.
So what are you waiting for? You need a warm place, a meal, and a bath. Look, you're all covered in earth. Something red. Is that clay? And what about you? Go, I will follow. Perhaps I will be at the rod even before you get there. Yes, Lady Katerina. Oh, let's get a move on. Our reputation is quite pitiful and it's constantly dropping. I'd rather not tarry and just get there before people start beating me in the street like the Haruspecs. Unlike the Haruspecs who starts with abysmally low reputation and then can work it back up with, like, the main pitfalls being that quest objectives have more reputation reductions more than the Bachelor. The Changeling starts with semi-low pretty low reputation and has even more reputation penalties in the story, along with constantly losing. On the bright side, you start with some stuff. Start with 2 lockpicks for getting your food, drapery, tourniquet and some morphine, milk and fresh meat, which is really good, and some various miscellaneous items, hook, flowers, needles, and kerosene. So she starts up a little bit more stacked than the other players, which is nice. Yeah, if you haven't seen the theme of thievery, since reputation isn't gonna come easily to us, we might have to steal from a couple of houses to make ends meet. But for the moment, let's just head down to the rod. While I have little to talk about, it's very weird returning to this game in the middle of 2020 just because of, like, political situation. I was being reductive when I mentioned the virus while playing as the Haruspecs, but now that it's become like this massive, let's be honest, tragedy, the deaths of coronavirus rival the amount of American troop deaths in World War II. Which, when you put it in that perspective, why the fuck aren't people really freaking out? That's a huge loss of life, and people are still treating it like a joke. To be fair, nothing wrong with, like, having a little laugh in, like, the face of, a really depressing subject, but 200k, we'd like to devalue death a lot, but really think about how huge that number is. That's fucking insane. It feels like it's never actually, like, thought of. Nobody actually cares. It's a bit weird and disheartening, and even as I point this out, even I'm, like, internally not worried about it. Like, my brain realizes that this is, like, really weird and screwed up, but I feel none of the fear. Also, yes, you can pick up Twire as Clara, as you saw right there. And while you can't brew, you can trade with it, which is nice. However, just to get people into the mood of how you collect stuff as Clara, you know the janky, thieving I did as the Bachelor? Yeah, well, you have to pull all those strats to get your food now. The, don't be in the field of view. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. And now, reset. Bam. Now, he does not realize that I am going to steal his milk. This lady can't attack me, so it doesn't matter if I steal in front of her. Yeah, this knowledge comes in use. If I'm going to be honest, I should probably, at this point, since I've gone back into, like, working on wikis, I should probably note that all of this stuff exists, but I just, I haven't. Oh, cool, geometry. Yeah, you can walk up this. Now I'm taller than you, fucker. How does it feel to be the small one? Both that teenage kid and the dude back there can hit me, but I'm gonna steal these chips. Didn't notice. There's your money. I'm gonna take the money. Thanks. Can I schlep up the water? You, look at me. Cool. Now that he's looking over there, I can take the water. Yum. Right there. Oh! I forgot. If you even look at here's the thing. If you look at anything with money in it, it triggers instant aggression for whatever reason. However, when you're staring at something with regular items in it that's not money, people have to see you take from it first, which is amazingly janky. But essentially, don't be seen looking into things, because you never know when it's gonna have money and it pisses everyone off. Fortunately, these women don't trigger alert or anything and can't attack me, so I can just freely steal from this room. That's a whole ass loaf of bread. And it's free. She runs around in a circle, but the teenage boy who can easily kick my shit in doesn't give a shit. He's just vibing. So I just gotta, you know, nothing in there, nothing on the short table. This lady continues to have a panic attack. We have a factory dude over here, so I'm gonna nab his attention, speak to him. He's reset and doing his idle animation, so that means we're safe. Oh, thank fuck he didn't notice me. Now stare over here. Thank you. And now we walk over here. And we take the water. The other little girl freaks out, but again, they can't attack me. And there's no alert system. What a great haul, I got a piece of bread. God, Clara is the best character in the game. Now I'll use up my second one because I might as well. I mean, this is like the intended start, so I'll take the free food. I don't even know if this is like how you're supposed to do it or an exploit, because I genuinely see no viable way of making stealing from houses useful without janking out the NPCs. Yeah, you see me? Please, I want that. Yep, so he goes into his idle animation, I take the steak. I take the money. But I really feel like they should have added it so that, like, the women and children can alert the adults and the teenage boy to come attack you, instead of them freaking the fuck out and nobody caring. See, it's just two women, so these fish are mine. This is like valuable food, and the family is just like so disjointed and broken that they don't care until they personally see you stealing. It's very cool. Ooh, do you have a powder? I know you. You're Clara. They also call you the Changeling. Well, since we already know each other, how about we trade? Fuck. Hey dude, little girl, can you, like, please get out of the way? I gotta distract this guy. Nope, he's staring at me. Now he's not. So I go over here, and there's nothing. Now he's staring at me. That's a gold ring. Worth the damage. Oh no, I'm stuck. The fists are heavy. Let me out. Freedom. It's okay, I got a golden ring. And I've got the jukes. No, I got stuck. Clara Gaming. I don't even know why I wasn't taking that much damage, because, like, they hurt. But at the same time, I just kind of got out of that. I'm a little weasel. Oh, also, stealing in front of people doesn't hurt your reputation. I can't explain it, it just doesn't. Anyways, next quest.
I've got a firm hand.
You are standing before Alexander Sabirov, one of the rulers of this town. It must be Clara, I suppose. Yes, that's right. Have I done something to make you angry? My wife Katarina said you have been seen at the cemetery. Like caretaker's daughter claims that you have crawled out of a fresh grave, the appearance of which could not be accounted for. Is this true? Yes, I woke in an earthen pit. It didn't look like a grave, just a pit in the middle of a cemetery. That's not a crime, is it?
So the Kynes compel Bachelor to destroy the murderer. They must be joking.
The Kynes. Do you know that it's dangerous for you to even go out in the street? Are you aware that the powerful Kyne family has put a bounty on your head? An envoy of theirs just left, and I promised that I'd help them catch the criminal by all means possible. The criminal? The head of one of the ruling families died last night. His murderer is said to be a woman similar to you in appearance. The description largely matches. Common folk, blinded by local superstitions, are blaming a mythical creature spawned by the earth under mysterious circumstances at night. Is there anything you have to say to that, Clara? Who's been murdered? I know nothing. Simon Kane, the oldest and wisest of us, the spiritual mentor and founder of our community. Don't dodge the question. The charge is serious, but for my wife's firm faith in you, I would have handed you over to the Kanes without a moment's hesitation. And you? Do you suspect me too? I don't know why, but for some reason I trust you. I get the strange feeling as though I have known you for a long time. That makes me suspicious, Clara, pointing as it does to the fact that you have controlled an otherworldly power of some kind. I do have inexplicable powers. I've always had them, but I've always thought of it as a blessing. It's good, not evil. Why, then, are you being called a thief? I do believe Larcenia's skills are the exclusive domain of the wicked. Okay, let's be honest. We immediately broke this thread by stealing from two houses the first moment we got control. And we've been spotted by a little boy and like two adult men. That's not quite fair, but evil is alien to me. I've always helped people, and always considered it a blessing. Indeed, you are a miracle worker. That makes you almost a saint. Yes, a status like that precludes accusations of murder and theft. But then explain to me the meaning of these coincidences. If not for my blind faith in my wife's words, I would have no doubt that you are an evil spirit, a spawn of the netherworld. If you don't explain that mystery at once, I swear even Katarina's influence will not save you. Wait, I'll tell you. I have a twin sister. She looks exactly like me, is named the same, and wears the same clothes. I fear she was the one who committed all those horrible crimes. Alright, have it your way. I accept this explanation, and I believe you. I've just had to tell a lie for the first time in my life, to invent a fictional sister and shift all those outrageous accusations to her. Strange I could even utter those words, but I promise when it all clears up, I'll explain myself and undo that lie. So what are you capable of, Clara? Tell me more about your miraculous abilities. I can cure various diseases using my hands. I know that already. Anything else? I can induce a hypnotic state in people, provided they consent, of course. Then they will answer any question truthfully. Enough. I need time to make up my mind. Go outside, walk around the house, and you'll get my wife's side. Afterwards, come back to me. If your conversation yields no unpleasant surprises, I shall decide on your future from then on. Alright, I'll do as you say. One can only go to Katarina, the ruler's wife, through a different entrance. Why is that? Love for each other is evident. That's one thing I wonder, like... Was this house intentionally built like this? Or has the place been, like, modified to split the two apart? Because from the outside it looks like one big cohesive building, yet it's cut off into two. There's no obvious, like, line where a door or something has been skewered off. Well, you do have this, like, weird block of shale. That could just be design. Also, I want to say, for the first time in Pathologic, these weirdly huge houses finally have context. Because there's no reason why this door should be so much huger than Danielle. But it okay, well... Danielle, obvious short joke. So much taller than the horror specs. But as Clara, the perspective kind of works now. Which is funny. Since this character is pretty much an afterthought. Which we will see much later. Goblet.
The wheel of my fortune has touched me in a dream.
The vision is becoming real. This doubtlessly is one of those two. Yet which one? I must be on my guard. Do you recognize me, Katarina? I recognized you at once.
What?
What? Come closer, Clara. Do you know that I, Katarina Sabrava, am a clairvoyant? I can commune with the mysterious forces that permeate this land. Magic has no power over me. I can see into the future. Tell me, do you question my abilities? I have such abilities too. I'm not one to doubt the existence of supernatural powers. The visions, they're not all the same. Some of them are clear, some are hazy, but a recent one was straightforward and vivid. A vision of such power that even a materialist would not question its divine provenance. I had a vision of the chaos to come, of the doom of our creations, of the earth swallowing our town. I know, I've seen it too recently. There was a prophecy of twin angels. It spoke of a harbinger of death, the imminent disaster incarnate, who is to come to the town, along with a holy healer who can perform miracles with their hands and deliver us from evil. Now I understand who is standing before me. Tell me, are you yourself aware of your calling? I thought I was a mere modest servant of virtue. Yes, that is correct. All that remains is to interpret that dream. A dream is always an allegory. Before I saw you, before I heard you speak, I have been thinking of other pairs of twins, Simon and George Kane, Andre and Peter Stomaton. Even those visitors, Horospex and the Bachelor, seemed to be the harbingers from my dream. But now I see where the truth lies. So you believe me? I am fully convinced that the prophecy was referring to you, but others will need better proof than that. Do as my husband said, and prove that you are who I think you are, and we will stand by you, the ruling couple, and the holy harbinger. What does that mean? It means that if you stand before our people in all your glory, fulfill your destiny, and don't abandon us afterwards, we will adopt you as our daughter. When I die, I will pass on to you the power of the Spirit, and your heart's chosen one will inherit the power of the sword from my husband. Why are you speaking as if you are reciting a psalm? Because there are no other words to speak properly of such things, and as for you, obedience will suit you much better than waywardness at this time. You are in too questionable a position, and it is beyond my power to change that on my own. I fear nothing. My conscience is clear. Now, go to Alexander. Be brave, no matter what he asks you. You have nothing to be afraid of, for I see that you are the true harbinger. Now things can neither be changed nor hidden from me. Time has proven that I do not make mistakes. Fear nothing, and return triumphant. Alright, I'm going. Now to try and find my quest. Oh. That's my hands. Sorry, it's been quite a long while since I've played, so I gotta see what the keys are. The Harbinger. Alright, I'm actually gonna read these quest logs, because I forgot to as the Bachelor and the Horospex, and that was sad. This woman has the power over the town, and so does her husband. With their permission, I will stay here for the time being. He will try and test me, and after I had convinced him of how important my mission is, he will be the one to protect me with the power he has in abundance. Katerina saw me in a dream. That's why she believed in me from the moment we met. The prophecy of the angelic twins was revealed to her, but I am not an angel, only a messenger. I'll have to explain this to her. Let Alexander test me if he will. My path was mapped by the higher powers, and I won't stray from it, no matter how steep and thorny the way. I return.
So the Kynes compel Bachelor to destroy the murderer. They must be joking.
Indeed, you do look like a messenger from above, and a spawn of the earth. Katerina has told me her dreams. It all fits. She believes I am a messenger from above. Alright, my wife is a clairvoyant, but I am not. I need something to make sure that you are exactly who you claim to be. I'm going to give you a few tasks. Let your actions prove that your hands have power over people's lives, and your words over their minds. I'm ready. I have nothing to worry about. I have received reports of a fight at the station this morning. Several men were killed, several more maimed. I have dispatched 2 loyal men there. They will tell you where the dead and wounded have been carried off. See if anything can be done. But it could be dangerous. If you are truly the prophesized messenger from above, you have nothing to fear. Nothing will harm you. The murderer has fled. The whole town is searching for them. Whether they are now, that place is far from the station. Go and fear nothing. You don't think my sister is guilty of this crime too? I have no idea what kind of a person your sister is and what her talents are, but it isn't likely, even if your sister is as singular a creature as yourself, that carried the wrong signature. It is the work of a true Ripper. And if the wounded man dies before I get to him? If not this time, then another time. Heal a man by nightfall for me, in the presence of a witness, or preferably, witnesses. So strengthen our position. I will then have legitimate grounds for protecting you against the Kane's wrath. Alright, do everything as you say. There was a fight here, by the station. Alexander sent his men here to look after the victims. It's time to lay my hands on a dying man. There was bloodshed at the station this morning, and many people lie wounded or dead. Sobyarov's man is keeping watch. He will tell me what has to be done. So I want to mention something. I've already spilled the beans that pretty much the power... this is the meta playthrough, where the player has essentially become a character in of themselves. And if you look at it with that lens, a lot of these dialogue choices begin to make a lot more sense. Clara thinking to herself, contemplating, you know, her lying about a sister. Sobrov saying that he feels like, he's spoken to or known us for a very long time. Because you gotta remember, Clara is locked behind having, beat the game as one of the other characters. If you're playing as Clara, then you already know who they are. And so one could say that, you have known him. And I think that's what the game is going for. The player knows Sobrov, and Sobrov knows the player. But Sobrov doesn't know Clara. Now, I'm not saying that, Sobrov, can see the... or, well, has clairvoyant, or, well, fourth wall breaking powers like Clara does. But there's something chained to this world that makes this whole scenario weird and plausible. What that is? Well, that's the story, isn't it? I should also say, I have no clue where the side quests are in this day, and I'll probably have to take a little break, not only to get food because I'm starving, but also to look up at what the side quests are. Because I forgot to check beforehand, I just jumped into this. More setting up, since this is the first day. I'm sorry for being so late with these videos. It's because I have, like, fucking ADHD, and I'll tell you this. You put off something, you say, like, okay, I'll return to it, like, tomorrow, I'm gonna start it tomorrow. It never happens. You forget about it. Or you just aren't in the mood for it. And then it goes on for another month, and then you're like, hey, I should probably play Pathologic tomorrow. And then tomorrow never comes. This is the infinite sprawl of being a content creator with ADHD. And only tonight, while voice chatting with my boyfriend, have I been able to just break free and say, okay, at 2 AM, I am going to play Pathologic and start this Let's Play. And so my boyfriend kept a clock on him and was like, okay, it's 2 AM, go play Pathologic. And I was like, yes, sir. And so now I'm playing Pathologic, finally. Turns out I need someone to hold me accountable. Also, I'm wandering in the wrong direction because I'm dumb and monologuing. Yeah, it's very nice to be back to this game. I adore this game to hell. And I'm really excited to finish this up. This also might be the start of when I start putting donations in the description, because I set up a little Ko-fi just to, like, you know, times are hard, plague days, a little bit of, like, cash to be able to feed myself would be nice. We aren't in any kind of desperate situation, or else I would, honestly, I would have said as such. I don't have much pride. I can beg if I need to. but, I'm not in that situation. But in case things get rough, you know, I'd rather have that there and stockpile a little bit. And here it is. First, before I talk to this child... Hello, sir. What are you doing here, girl? I've come here on Alexander's orders. Same as you, I guess? Yes, I am a faithful man, a servant of the Sabrovs. There were 2 of us. We came to see about the dead and wounded, only to discover that the robbers were already running rampant around here. They attacked us and most likely killed my assistant. What sort of robbers were they? Warehouse dwellers, by the look of it. Grief's minions. They plundered the dead and finished off the wounded. They spared no one, although one dying man did manage to hide from them. In the fuss, no one noticed him crawl away towards the cemetery. Must have crossed the marsh. I suppose they're angry as hell. How do you know that? A bit of eavesdropping. I hid in the fuss too, and this is where I'm hiding from them now. They're cut and about nearby, just gone as far as the rocks. I'm waiting for them to go away so I can call for help and do what my lord told me to. And who's this with you? He's not with me. A wounded homeless boy. First I thought he was another survivor, but he's apparently just wandered in. So I'm thinking, maybe he's one of the rogue lot? Where are those robbers? Over there, next to the cars. Be careful, don't come close. They're wicked good knife throwers. Finally, the game has acknowledged that those fuckers throw knives and ruin your life. So they stabbed this gutter snipe with a knife? Well, he's carved up a good bit. See how he's clutching his side? So who's been getting playful with the knife? Well, since anybody got knifed around here. The other one. The one that crawled away to the cemetery. There wasn't an unbloody spot on him. This one here was pretty lucky. You could say almost unharmed. Unharmed? Far from it. Try and talk to him. According to one of my faithfuls, a wounded man has slipped away. He should be somewhere near the cemetery by now. So what about this dog boy? I'm angry, and I hurt. Why so? Why? Because first I get chased away into the steppes by my soul-and-a-half mates, and then I run into a ripper there to boot. Boy, was I begging to let me go, but the bastard knew that I'd been picked on for. Then pulled out his knife, and here I am, carved up like so much fillet. It hurts. Help me, will you? What did they do to you? Well, I suppose I had done what was a mighty rotten thing to do, and mucked it up like an idiot at that. So my former soul-and-a-halves mates, they threw me out, called me a traitor and all that. Hunted me, but I'm a slick one. I saved myself. Thought I'd made it out. What do you know? Along came leather sacks. Leather sack? Some ripper I'd never seen around here before, and he's like, stop right there, I'ma question you. And you wanted for such and such crimes, and you're carrying valuables on this person, etc., etc. Then whack he goes with the razor. But I wriggled myself free, saved myself again, and then wobbled my way to this place, and then... What did you do to cross those boys? Look at me in the eye and speak honestly. Oh wait. Or else forget about helping from me. Honestly, it was pretty bad. You see, there's those schmouder things, you know, powder schmouder. We had an outbreak a couple of years ago. They called it the sand pest, and it would burn up your blood. So these schmouters, they helped if you caught it. There's still some left, but they're hard to come by. And now there was this rumor about the sand pest being back, and even a couple of folks. Where's the word sick coming? what's the word, sick coming to it, and one of our lot had a schmouder. I was saving it for his sister in case she caught the pest. Basically, I, stole it. What for? Yourself? Nah, not for ourself. Our gang, the soul in the house, is at war with another gang, the Dogheads. Quite a fight this is, last drop of blood and all. Dogheads outnumber us, and they've set up their lair at the tower. And the tower is a dream tower of pure gold, if you like. You wouldn't understand, so I thought I'd switch sides with that Smouter as an admission fee. So you stole medicine from a friend who might need it to save his sister's life, and you did it so you could be a more desirable sellout, right? What does it matter? Everyone steals, everyone sells out. It's in our nature. Whoever isn't a thieving man is a thieving woman. Haha. The real nasty part is that when my scheme was out, the fool rushed me and tried to take his schmouter back. So I waited for the right moment and offed him. That's just abominable. Good grief. You at least feel some remorse. Yes, I'm all remorse and penny tins. Just do something. Stop the bleeding at least. Tie it with a hanky, would you? See how the bastard had sliced me into ribbons with that razor of his? Just let me get to him. Tie him up and give him twice the pain he gave me. I could heal you, but I won't. You're much too disgusting. For experimental reasons, I'm gonna come back to that kid later. But also, knife throwers. And here, I get to tell you about how combat works in this game. Dodge the knives. So Clara has a melee, ranged attack. Yep. This is combat now. Like other melee and ranged weapons, this does get a damage buff from smacking them in the head. But yeah, you have a ranged melee weapon. It is distinctly, the weakest weapon in the game, but it makes up for that by being literally ranged. So, instead of having to bob and weave in front of enemies, you can just run backwards and keep smacking them in the face. Compared to 2 headshots with the knife, the slaps are 3 headshots on your common mugger. They also both dropped golden rings. So yeah, Clara's the weakest weapon in the game, but it's also, like, really strong defensively. It's also really funny doing weird hand signs and just beating people to death like that. This stupid attack may be the greatest joke in the game. And I love it. Anyways, there's a report that there's a more grievously injured man possibly at the graveyard. And I wanna go try my healing touch on him. Also Twire. It's kind of funny, because your character model is so much lower down on the ground, it's kinda easier to make out the shape of Twire, just by the fact that you're, I don't know how to describe the perspective, but it's easier to see it when you're, when you're visually along the height of the middle of the stem. I'm sure people can just intuit what the hell I'm talking about, because I have no clue. I'll just do this to get rid of my hunger. Eat all of the trash food. I'm also going to use a tourniquet for my healing. I don't know if you have worms to trade with, herb-wise, but I do know that we have a new opportunity at the Broken Heart, aka and Andre Stomatin's pub. But we'll see that later. For now, let's go find this injured man, victim of the Ripper.
soaking wet.
Lude. You're back. What did grandfather say? Tell me, has an injured man come to your lodge lately? How do you know? I know a lot. Are you forgetting who you're talking to? Yes, an injured workman did come crawling here. He was all but dead, so I went to find him a good spot. I'd almost settled on a grave by the far wall, when I thought of burying him in your pit. The one you spent the night in, I mean. When I returned, there was a visitor at the lodge. Death? No! Leaning over the wounded worker was the scary man who'd inflicted all those wounds on him in the first place. I asked him not to kill the workman, but to heal him with living blood instead. And he, the scary one, said nothing for a long time. There was just the sound of his wheezy breath. Then he took the workman and dragged him off somewhere. To his den, he said. Who was the scary man? He is a warden stock. He knows the lines of the body. He can heal people and is allowed to cut a body. Said his name was Artemi Burak. But I'm afraid he'll kill the wounded man instead of healing him. The workman was, after all, his enemy. It attacked Burak by the morning and injured him. And where is this Burak then? I don't know, but I think it must be nearby. He was in a bad state himself, so he couldn't have walked too far with a limp body on his hands. Hiding in the works, perhaps, or at the runaway hospice. Now that I think about it, his shoes were covered in gray clay, which you can only get around the works. I'll try to find him. And because the game already knows that you know where Burak lives, yeah, it just puts it on your map. The Ripper carrying the dying, wounded man off his lair. Wounded factory workers carried off by the Ripper.